Today we're making a crunchy, aromatic seeded bread that's ridiculously easy and dangerously addictive. We start by toasting a mix of sunflower, poppy, and white sesame seeds on high heat until they're golden and fragrant. Set those aside to cool. Next, we toss 600 grams of flour, 12 grams of salt, and 3 grams of dry yeast into a bowl and give it a quick mix. I made a little well in the center of the flour, doesn't have to be perfect, and poured in about 450 grams of room temperature water. I started mixing gently, just to bring it together. Then added the toasted seeds. Mixed until it was all well incorporated, sticky, shaggy, and exactly what we want. Make sure you cover the bowl and let it sit at room temp for 1 hour. After the rest, I did one set of stretch and fold, not overworking it, just enough to build a little strength without tearing the gluten. Then I moved it to a larger bowl, covered it up again, and let it rise for 1 to 2 hours until it doubled in size. It looked like it had doubled in size after about an hour, so it was time to shape. Once proofed, I dusted a little flour over the top. Used a dough scraper to get it out of the bowl. And placed it on the floured surface. Then I started shaping. First, I gently stretched the dough out into a rough triangle or oval shape just to flatten it slightly. I grabbed the top edge and folded it down toward the bottom. Then I took the left side, gave it a light stretch, and folded it over toward the center. Repeated that on the right side, folding it into overlap. Now, starting from the bottom, I rolled the dough upward, kind of like a jelly roll, but as I rolled, I gently pulled back against the surface to create tension and tighten up the loaf. That gives it structure and helps it hold its shape while baking. Covered it with the bowl and preheated the oven to 250 degrees Celsius. With the Dutch oven inside, gave it 15 minutes to heat up. I started by lightly dusting the top of the dough with flour. That makes it easier to score without dragging the blade. Then I carefully moved the dough onto a piece of parchment paper, trying not to deflate it. I took a sharp blade and made a few clean cuts across the top. Finally, I gave it a quick spray of water to create steam and help that crust form in the oven. Once the oven was ready, I carefully uncovered the Dutch oven, then transferred the dough inside, trying to keep its shape. I placed the lid back on, locked in the heat, and baked it at 230 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. After the first bake, I took the lid off and baked it for another 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. That's what gives the bread its deep color and perfect golden crust. Look at this beautiful, golden brown loaf. We want it to cool completely before slicing into it. And once it's cooled, we can finally take a look inside. Soft, airy, and filled with those perfect, uneven bubbles. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know how yours turns out.